When I was young, I had a misunderstanding. I think it's a misunderstanding. I was 17 taking calculus AB and I thought I understood, or I thought there was just a formula, time, lowercase, italicized t, equals delta x, change in position, right? And I was like, okay, formula, just doing formulas. I'm good at math because I'm a rule follower. I can just follow the rules. I don't really understand like what calculus is for, but I can do calculus. If I have the steps, I don't even remember all the steps really, but I'm sure I could get it back quickly. So yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, time is a change of position. I remember that. And I think I got it wrong though. I think I misremembered it. I don't know. Cause now as I'm older, I said that to somebody and it was like, no, that's not a thing. I was like, oh, maybe I got it wrong. But it hit me later when even if it's a misunderstanding, but later, time equals a change of position. And when I'm doing math, I don't really think about what it means in real life. I just follow the steps. But later I was thinking about what that means in real life. I was like, oh, time equals a change of position. Time is a change of position. Oh, that's what time is. That's what we're doing here. We are just changing positions. My perception of like time passing is because things in my life move and change. Things change position. Like if I'm looking at a piece of bread, I notice the passage of time as things change, right? Like, I guess change of position it's accurate. I understand it, but if you think about it as movement, it might not make sense. So change of position, like the molecules are changing positions when the bacteria eats this. It's changing the molecular structure of whatever it's eating and like into different parts, glucose or whatever, like it's changing the molecular position, right? The bacteria are literally dividing. It changed position. It slightly moved. It evolved. It morphed. It did whatever it did, but then it divided, and then it divided again and again and again and again until you have, however many. I don't think it's a perfect system, but if it was completely perfect, it would be like 2 to the whatever power, right? 2 to the 4th, to the 8th, to... I don't remember what that's called. It's exponential growth, right? But it's not, I don't remember the name of it. It's not 2 to the 4th power when you're talking about it like this in population growth. There's a name. Anyway, I don't know. But it doesn't matter. So, okay. Time is a change of position. So you're literally just moving around. When I'm sitting here in my room and I'm practicing meditating, well, back then, sitting in my cell, I was doing this stuff in jail, okay, in prison. And meditation, they say, focus on your breathing. The first thing you need to do, well, some meditation, focus on a candle. Some, I think Zen Buddhists, the eyes are open. I think some, the eyes are closed. You're supposed to, but most of them say when you're doing it, when they're like, first starting out, and you're like, how do I meditate? Focus on your breathing. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Just let your thoughts pass like clouds. You're not really focusing on anything. You have a thought come in, thought comes out. You're not thinking anything. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Focus on your breathing only. To me, until I became into a pure state of I am, I was just thinking about stuff, but also focusing on breathing, a really good tool to bring you into the present moment. Be present, right? That's the whole new thing too. Be mindful, be present. It's great. It's really great. It's a super great, profound thing to do. It's something everyone should do. It's amazing, but it is very popular and trendy. But I think that's like, normally I associate trends with bad, but this time, well, it's kind of bad because it's becoming so trendy. It's losing meaning. People don't remember what it means anymore. Be mindful. And that's why take the Lord's name in vain, make it empty. Well, you're making mindfulness in vain. I don't know. It could be. But anyway, It's trendy. Everybody knows about it now. It's because it's everybody knows about it because it's a logically better thing to do than the old way of just panicking and worrying and living in the past or living in the future. Like, it's just a logically better way to live. Everybody knows it. That's just how it is. Okay. And it's in the Bible. But so be present, be here. So meditation, breathing. Oh, so there we are. There I am meditating, or there I am noticing and thinking and pondering, and time is a change of position. And I'm like, oh, when you meditate and you breathe, the time is passing. Your body is doing stuff. And your breath is what you notice of your body's doings. Well, you might have to go to the bathroom. You might have a pain somewhere. But like your body, like you don't really notice what your body's doing most of the time. I think that's why like breathing is important, because it helps you to like focus on the present moment body situation, what's going on in there. And then, but your body is literally changing position. You're changing position. Your breathing is changing position. And that's how you notice the passage of time. And when we talk about like in fantasy realms, like when we talk about in movies, we talk about time travel and like pausing time. There's always in fantasy stuff, there's usually some kind of situation where a character can pause time or time can stop, right? But they're still going. So everyone around them stops. They get to keep going and do stuff. And that would be really cool. Everybody's like, who's watched movies or thought about that stuff, that thing seems like a cool thing that would happen to you, right? It would be like neat. You could do like stuff. You could get things. You wouldn't have to have a job anymore, basically. That would be great. So, but the whole reason you notice time stops is because everything stops. Literally everything's frozen into place, right? Nothing is changing position anymore. It's frozen because time is a change in position. Time is what we notice positions to change. When we mark time, like with a clock, it's just that the hands are moving. It moves because it's changing position. So it gives us an indication of roughly how much time has passed logically in the day-to-day life in the real world, because sometimes we can get caught up in things like time might feel like it's slower or feel like it's faster, so the clock just keeps us on track, just keeps a steady ticking forever into eternity. So it just keeps a steady beat, right? Just that second. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. I wonder how much that 1 second has imprinted into the conscious understanding, because literally every human on earth, I believe at this point, understands like kind of the beat of 1 second. It's like literally getting everybody into rhythm. And why did we choose that to be the beat? Why is 1 second? Oh, because it works out to be with like the way the earth goes around the sun and things, and maybe so. But anyway, the 1 second beat, we all kind of have a feel for, because we all know what a clock is. I will say, when I was homeless with no clocks, that was freaking amazing. I didn't know what day it was or what time it was. I just knew the season and the brightness level, day or night, morning or evening. Like, you just know the brightness level of what's going on outside and the season. Is it cold or warm? Like, that was really freeing, really amazing. I did love that. And also interesting, Tom Robbins talks about the end of time in Even Cowgirls Get the Blues with the Chink, and then the clock people and the clockworks. Oh my gosh. He talks about the end of time literally just meaning the end of the relentless like tyranny of the clock and the timekeeping, and like, we need to be on time and we need to do this on time. We have maximum efficiency. Okay. Back to the thing though. So time is just the change of position. If we didn't have a clock, we notice the passage of time by the change of position. And we talk about time travel. We're really talking about going back to the positions everybody go back into the exact position you were before. Ready, set, go. Let's start over. Now, you'd have to put all the molecules back into the exact same position it was before, though. I'm looking in my storage unit and I'm seeing all these things that have been with me some of these things have been with me literally my entire life. I have one thing here I'm looking at. It's inside of a thing. The thing I'm looking at has been with me probably 35 of my 45 years, at least, or 35 of my 40 years. The thing inside of that thing, I think, has been with me since birth. It is my best thing, my most best thing. It is my blue bear. Blue bear. Blue Bear is my most prized treasure of all my hoard of all my things. Blue Bear's been with me since the beginning. I used to carry Blue. I didn't remember this. The other day, as at the storage unit, I got Blue Bear out, of course, and look at him. Doesn't look like he used to look. But still, there he is in his like sad, raggedy state. But I love him. I love him so much. So I get him out, and I just walking around the storage unit. I haven't done this in years. I have not carried him around in years. I was carrying him around, and immediately I just tuck him under my arm. And it was so natural, and it was just like, I remember doing that. It hit me that I remember doing that in that exact second. I remembered that's how I used to carry him around. But he started to get raggedy from doing that. That's why I stopped carrying him around, because he was looking shabby and raggedy and crazy, and he needed to just sit. It was great to carry him around like that again, though. It was just like going back. It's like you could never go home again. You know that phrase, you could never go home again. It was like being able to go home again as a child. It was so freaking amazing. That's why I keep Blue Bear around. I can go home again sometimes. That's nice. And I mean, pictures can help, and memories, but when you have the actual thing and you can like actually like hold it the way you used to as a kid, oh my gosh, you go home again. At least I do. It's amazing. That's why I like to hoard, because it takes me back. Like I'm there again. It's great. Pictures, most things, pictures can do the same thing though for me. But like some things I like to hold and touch. Anyway, I wonder if that's going to be the same for my kids. So I hoard their things, hoping that if they ever go through their buckets again, they can remember their life even more richly. It's like, oh yeah, that thing. Remember when we were in the woods that day? You know, that kind of thing. And it's like, it brings back all the memories. I like to do that. So I'm doing that for them. I have a catalog of sorts. I have this little like library of buckets full of the keepsakes, the life memories, the milestones, the meaningful events kind of thing. But in things, some people keep that in journals or pictures. I keep it in buckets of things. So I think I'm up to like probably close to 50 buckets of my life, some of my family's lives, my children's lives, some of my husband's life, mostly mine and my children's lives. I don't know. This is what I do. Anyway, back to the thing, time being a change of position. So we want everything to go back. So say I hold Blue Bear and I can, in my mind, maybe if I was super powerful like a time machine, to time travel, I would have to go back and recreate every molecule into this position. And I think technically it would be possible. Like if you were God, could you do that? Could you rearrange every molecule? Like if you had infinity, maybe you could. Maybe you could literally rearrange every molecule to exactness to be in that same moment again. But would the things make the same choices? I don't think so. I think choices sometimes are spur of the moment, and that tiny spur of the moment choice you made that seemed super trivial and inconsequential might have likely does have lasting impacts on the rest of infinity. Because if I chose, like, say I was really scared one day and I chose to or I tripped over this bucket or something, like that could have changed things for later. You know, my life might be different now, or like somebody's life would be different now based on some kind of random event. Somebody in the universe's life, or somebody in the world's life, somebody in human existence might be, and it might be drastically different. I think that's called the butterfly effect. I don't know, but that is true. I believe that's true, that our little choices we make have lasting effects. Because if you did, it's like that Simpsons episode, if you stepped on a butterfly, if you changed one little thing about the past, would you even exist, or would it even be the same? And I don't think it would. I think it would be a bit different. I think it would be similar though. I think it'd be similar enough, but I think if you go back far enough, it would be pretty different. I also think that, I don't know. So time travel, okay, time being a change of position, time being just our conscious awareness of things changing in external physical reality. I guess physical reality. A conscious awareness of things changing in physical reality. And that is time. That's what we call time. There's no time travel. There's no such thing as traveling through time. The future does not exist right now. When they're like, oh, it's all one day with God. It's all happening right now with God. Past, present, future, that little part on the end tacked on, that's a human society construct of our social norms of our stupid day, because we are humans and we don't understand things. So when we're like, we're the pinnacle, those Victorians are so stupid and we're so smart. No, we have these things too, like our idea that it's all one day with God, meaning past, present, future. I don't think that's what it means. I think it's the eternal constant present is the one day with God. The reason it's one day with God is because God doesn't go to bed. It's a day. It's literally the day you're awake. When you go to sleep, that marks the next day, but you're still a conscious being existing throughout the entire time you're there. You're just changing a little, like you're changing what you're focusing on. And so it marks a day and a night cycle for you. But with God, if you don't sleep, it's just all one day. It's all one day with God, right? And if you notice what people are choosing and you can predict their choices might not be good for them, it doesn't mean you're choosing for them. I think C.S. Lewis said that there's a huge difference between making things happen and noticing things happen, right? So when people are like, God knows everything, then why am I suffering? Because you're making choices. He's watching you make choices to make yourself suffer. He's watching it happen. He knows it's going to happen because predictions, and he can, because you can see like chain reactions happening, but he's not making it happen. You're making it happen. You're choosing. He's not making your choice happen for you. He's noticing your choices, what you're choosing. But if he set it in motion in the beginning, knowing what everyone would choose, I think that's different. I just don't think that's the case, though. I do think our choices are free. I think our choices are free because we largely, well, not largely, but partly, a big part, maybe a fourth or a third even, because we can make choices that go against our body's natural desire of survivability. Say we're super depressed. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about things like loving your enemy. Things that you are not like, it's not like you're depressed, like your body's natural like desire to like harm itself, maybe because you're really sad because life events or whatever. I'm talking about life events do not make sense for you to love your enemy, and your body strongly is warning against it and will fight you to do it. It doesn't want it. Like maybe you might even become shaky, or like your body's like panicking, right? It's like, no, stop. But you pull out full steam ahead, you do it anyway. I kind of think that indicates choice, free choice. I mean, all the life experience, I don't know, it's pretty complex. If God knew every single life experience I had, but I'm still asking for help, would he know I'd ask for help? I don't know. It's just in my nature. Do I have an inherent nature? I kind of think I do. I kind of think I'm a conscious, separate being here. I think I'm like here. And I don't have any kind of, I don't know. It's like I'm not controlling like any other, like I'm not like presently witnessing any other incarnation or place. But I could potentially. It could be we're all just one being, I guess. But still, a being nonetheless. A being, an exister. An exister. What does the mean? That little suffix, right? It means like, indicates like a person or like a consciousness, right? An exister, a doer, a thinker, a hitter, a blasphemer. You're like a thing that thinks, or a conscious thing. The probably indicates like a consciousness, a level of consciousness. I don't know. Language is interesting. The language, there's little details in the language that like indicate the current understanding of the nature of existence sometimes. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so time being a change of position, that's cool, huh? That's like, okay, well, time travel doesn't exist, and it's just the eternal constant present moment. Well, that's all we have to deal with. That's what we should be dealing with, sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof, maybe, kind of thing. That might have been a complete misunderstanding of calculus, though, because I don't understand, I do understand math after I've done it. It would be like, I would understand the point of geometry the next year in algebra 2. Geometry would make sense, as my brain had a chance to think about it, because that school system is so rigorous. It keeps you such a fast pace where I could do this test, but I don't understand it and just keep plowing forward. I still liked math. I still like it. I understand it later. I get it later, but calculus was as high as I went. So unless I go farther, likely I won't understand the point of even calculus at all. I just know how to do it, kind of, but I don't understand what it's for. So I might have misunderstood that. Time equals delta x. T equals delta x. Time equals a change of position. It's math is just a description of the universe too, right? There's language, words describe the universe, but also math describes the universe. But time is a change of position. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so profound. But that might be a misunderstanding. But that's kind of weird, because I think it's still true. I still think time is a change of position, or time is a noticing of things changing, things meaning physical external reality, which might just be a dream anyway, but the construct that we're witnessing, the thing that we're witnessing, it changes, and we notice it, and we're like, holy crap, I'm changing too, and getting older, and my children get older, and everything moves. It's a change of position. If only I could go back to those days. If only I could go back to those days. Those days are set. I feel like that's kind of the book of life. It's like a set in stone thing. The things that happened did happen, and it happened as it happened. And that is set. And here we are now, setting the next stone, literally sometimes. We're here setting the things. Laying the foundation for the next people, the next ones to come.